Hello and welcome to Grade Expectations. I'm your host Grade. I apologize for the delay in making a video. I have a CGC 9.8 pre-screen unboxing for you today. Before we get into the unboxing, I have been doing a lot of selling in the last few months. I really noticed in March that my eBay sales were picking up, Facebook sales, that kind of thing, and I was selling. So I have sold quite a few of my Miles Morales keys. I've sold First Appearance of Venom. Basically, anything that I really didn't want to keep long term has been for sale, and sales have been pretty good. I would say it's definitely slowed down in the last couple weeks. Um, Invincible Iron Man #1, they had a second print, and there was a 1 in 25 version of it with basically all the Iron Man armors. And I should have made a video on that one, but I basically bought a few copies on eBay right on like the release, and then it got some buzz and the price went through the roof, so I ended up selling all my copies because why not? Sell into the hype, right? So I don't actually have one to show you, but I did buy them and then I sold them. And that was kind of like a book, second print variant. Nobody wanted the first print, so there weren't a lot of stores that bought the second print, even though it had a 1 in 25 variant, and so that made the 1 in 25 pretty scarce. And I don't know, I liked the cover as well, so that's why I was buying them. And then anyway, I don't mind selling them as well. You can see the two comics on my left. On my left, I have the Ultimate Fallout 4 Drzevic variant, but the Virgin variant, like the second print, I guess you could call it, or third print, the reprint, as well as Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the regular cover. The reason I have those up there is because I actually have put my two big Miles keys. So I had a Drzevic 9.6 Ultimate Fallout 4, and I had my 9.8 Stan Lee signed variant of the Ultimate Spider-Man 1. Both of those Miles Morales keys are currently at Comic Link, and they've been there for a couple months, and the idea was to try and sell into the hype of Into the Spider-Verse #2. So they're up in May for auction. Okay, so yeah, what I did was I had a hold with Gary Kendra, and I ended up sending him 50 books. 13 of them are Luckies, and I believe the books for Lucky, as well as 12 for me, just in a straight up get them graded, are in that box. And then I have another box here with a 9.8 pre-screen. So I send in 25, cross my fingers, hope for the best. I would say with this pre-screen, I actually had a lot of trouble finding books. So I buy on eBay, I buy on Facebook Marketplace when I can see books that are in great condition. I am very picky on the condition, and generally I don't find books. And specifically in the last 6 months, I've had a real problem finding 9.8 candidates for raw books that I want and I want to get graded, and I think are have good value. So anyway, when Gary emailed me to let me know my hold was ready, I actually scrambled a little bit to get books, and that's including having Lucky submit 13. So I would say I'm actively trying to buy. I'm only trying to buy the good ones that are, to me, sure things, and it's been very hard. It's really hard to find those raw books right now. Um, as far as like the hype books, you know, Spider-Boy and Quest of the Jedi, I have those pre-ordered with Thing from Another World. I have a bunch of both, and they haven't come in yet, so they're just kind of on the back burner. When I get them, I would imagine I'll be selling into the hype a little bit on at least a few of them. So with these CGC deliveries. So they FedEx the boxes, and I got two calls on earlier this week, and I'm like, okay, those are my two, like 25 boxes. So one's the pre-screen, one is the regular, and so I get the first one, and it is this one, or no, it's that one, and then they make a second delivery, and it's a little one. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Very weird. So before I opened it, I was thinking there are like three options. First of all, they could have given them a bump in tier. So I did have some good books in the batch with Luckies, like the any grades. So if I got a 9.8 on a couple of those books, they could move up in the tier. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's good news, and they've just moved them up in the tier and they sent them back separately. Not the craziest thing in the world, but in the past they haven't done that. They've just charged me and then sent it with the regular stuff. The second thing I thought was, well, maybe one of the 25, it was from 1975. It's the first appearance of Multiple Man, and like square-bound book, 1975. I'm like, 1975 is the cutoff. Maybe I screwed it up, and standard is like 1976 and on, and they've put it in like economy tier or something, and like I'm gonna have to pay extra for shipping and different tier. I'm like, that could be number two. And then the third thing I thought was, uh-oh, I had a 25 book pre-screen. Is it possible that they're grading super hard and none of my 25 books made that 9.8 threshold? And then would they just send them in this? So I was kind of freaking out a little bit. So I did actually open it. And of those three options, it was none of them. So I'll start by showing what these were. There are two of Lucky's books and my books. So the first one is Image 30th Anniversary Anthology number 8. And this is the first appearance of World Tree. And so her number one comic just came out on Wednesday. So they had a problem with the printing, and it was super dark, and now they've printed it again, and the paper is apparently bad. But this is actually her first appearance. Some people are saying it's a preview. I don't know if it's a preview or if it's a first appearance. I got wise to this book from, where was it? CBSI, or well, one of the speculation comic channels or internet sites. Basically, they mentioned this book, so I bought a couple copies at cover price, like from eBay, once I heard about it. And I knew that World Tree was getting a comic book. So anyway, they have had 9.9s in this book. This one was a 9.8. And then one of Lucky's books, it is Spider-Man Spider Shadow number 1. And it's the Hive Comics Virgin variant. He bought it just for the cover buy, black cover. You'd think it would be pretty hard to get a 9.8. And yeah, it's still got a 9.8. Looks pretty good, I guess, if you're into covers, which we all are. So anyway, that's all the box had. It had 2 books. So what I think happened is they shipped this box, and then they looked at the table again, and there were still 2 books left, because these boxes hold 25. That, or there are 2 Amazing Fantasy 15s in there that they screwed up and mixed up. That's what we all hope, right? Alright, let me get set up. Okay, so we're going to do this unboxing. Again, it is a 9.8 pre-screen. The box was heavy, so I would assume there's at least 20 of 25. Now, I do get my books generally pressed with Mr. Kendra. I think he does awesome work. And even though a bunch of these books are unread and, like basically off the shelf or more likely I ordered them on eBay or I ordered them on whatever, I still don't mind paying for Mr. Kendra to press them if they're good books. So these are good books, or at least decent books. So let's see what I got here. Now I'm opening this one. If I screwed up the boxes, well, we'll figure it out pretty quick, and then I'll have to swap the boxes. You can also see right here, I've got Darth Vader number 20, and it's the Sprouse variant. I bought a few Sprouse variants before you knew what the cover was and everything, and that's the first cover appearance of the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and Grogu, the little kid in the stroller. Okay. Anyway, I like that book. I do think Mando keys are going to be a thing eventually. I think the first Mandalorian number 1 is definitely overprinted, but a lot of people like the hype and like the Disney Plus show. And I would say, like, when you look at the number 2, when you look at other appearances, I think there's a lot of potential in those books. So I have been buying some of them. Again, if you've watched the channel, I'm not that big a Star Wars guy, but I'm watching The Mandalorian. Okay, we got a bunch of books here. I'm just going to turn this. Oh, crap. 1 second. I think we got a perfect 25 out of 25. If that's true, then that's all Gary. Let's go through these. All right, first book, 9.8. This is Harley Quinn number 25. This is the 1 in 25 Jenny Frison cover. I bought a couple of these. I feel like I bought them on eBay. I saw the cover on FOC, and I just thought it was a banging cover. I like Jenny Frison ever since Something is Killing the Children, the Unlock variant. I really liked that cover, and I thought this one was better. So I bought a couple copies of this book. I would say I paid about 25 bucks US each, and this one came back 9.8. Cool cover. Was there anything special about that book? There was some hype about it. I didn't really follow it. It didn't really matter. I wasn't trying to sell. I bought, you know, like I generally, if I think a book is good or I think it's got potential, I buy a couple. And I am big on variants. So specifically like the retail variants. A lot of people don't like them, especially with moderns. But for some of them, if the book isn't over-ordered, then there aren't that many copies. And if the cover is great, I'm in. So next one is a second copy of Harley Quinn 25 in 9.8. We're going to presume all these have white pages. There's like maybe 1 or 2 books where I'll check. Next, War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas number 2. I'm like maybe a year and a half late on this book. It's the first appearance of Swordmaster, and presumably the second appearance of the New Agents of Atlas. Or, no, Young Avengers. That's it. Where'd I get that book? I think I got it from my LCS. They had a back issue sale or back issue setup, and it was really picked over. But they did have a copy of that book. That one was on my radar, but I wouldn't say it was one I was targeting or willing to overpay or whatever. It was there. I saw that it was a key, you know, and then if I see it, it's key, and it just happens that I can find one, I'll buy it. Next, we have Strange Academy Finals number 1. This is the 1 in, I want to say 1 in 50 Momoko, Peach Momoko variant. I do have some other Peach Momokos in here. Do I love the cover? It's okay. I'm not big on Magic. I know she's got a following, and this book did have some hype. I bought a couple copies of these. I bought three of them, like pre-order, and one of them had like a thing here, um, so I'll just sell that one raw. The other two looked good, so I submitted them. I figure if it's a 1 in 50 and it's got some buzz, I'm willing to get it graded. So yeah. Oh, so with Strange Academy, the hype is dead as far as I'm concerned. So I've been trying to sell some Strange Academy books. I look at views on eBay and I get very few views on my Strange Academy books and no buyers. So like with the price, I'm not willing to drop the price that much because I kind of believe in the hype still. But I would say that right now people don't care that much. Now that could change. Like after book number 6 of Strange Academy Finals, it was supposed to end. Now I'm hearing that in July they're going to have Strange Academy Miles Morales. So they might just keep going with the train, or they might actually have like a second year of students, which is what I hoped. I was really disappointed with the route they went though, because to me they just had a unique property, bunch of kids going to school. People say Harry Potter, but like just being kids and learning, and like it doesn't need to be that real. More instead of comic stuff, more just dealing with kid stuff, like high school stuff. And I thought it was refreshing. I thought it was nice, and they could have really rode that for 50 issues, and instead right away they're trying, by issue 8 they're already trying to like basically get a story going, make a bad guy. Like they didn't even need bad guys, or if they had bad guys, like token bad guys would have worked, like Mole Man type bad characters. And instead they just ramped it up. So I hope they bring it back in the fall and continue to do Strange Academy just as a bunch of kids learning magic. And they don't have to do anything. They can travel the realms, have like Thor in a book, or have Wolverine in a book, just to make it interesting, and do field trips, do classes. Like it doesn't need to be rocket science. It can be basic stuff, and I think they've got a winner. But the route they've gone, don't love it. And certainly I think the comic market has responded saying, well, it's over. And really, they didn't need to end it that quick. Do I blame Scotty Young? Maybe. All right, next. We have Edge of Spider-Verse number 5. This is the first appearance of Penny Parker and her robot spider. So she was in Into the Spider-Verse number 1. She's like the anime character. And this is another book where I got it from my LCS. I was just going through the back issue bin and they had it and the price was reasonable, and so I picked it up, and I'm glad it came back in 9.8. Yeah, I would say it's a 9.8, like it's close. Not towards the 9.9 the other way. Okay, another LCS buy. This is Astonishing X-Men number 3. This is the first appearance of Sword and Abigail Brand. And I do think that Sword could be part of the MCU moving forward. It only takes like one show to bring Abigail into the fold. I like the cover. And I think this run, at least the first appearances in this run, like Armor and Sword and Danger and stuff like that, they're undervalued, underappreciated. So anyway, submitted it, got a 9.8. All right, next. So this is Edge of Spider-Verse number 5. This is the 1 in 25. Was it a spoiler variant? It might have been a spoiler variant, but basically it's the first appearance of Silly Spider, and he's on the cover. So I believe that this character was created and is in Into the Spider-Verse #2. Not sure. A lot of people hated this cover when it came out, and I bought a few copies. I think I bought 4 copies, um, placed an order for them. I thought Edge of Spider-Verse #5 would be much less ordered than the other ones. And then because it's a 1 in 25 ratio, I'm like, well, it's going to be a lot harder to find. So I bought a few copies. So I think I bought 4 or 5 copies. And turns out it was Silly Spider. So I actually do like the cover. And I think, well, it's definitely got legs, at least 8 of them. But we'll see what happens with this. I have gotten these graded. I try not to do this, but I got these graded in anticipation for him hitting the movie. And hopefully he's in the movie, and hopefully I can sell, at least one of these. Or 2. You could sell 2. Like, what has he done in comics since this appearance? I don't know. I don't even know if he's been in more than one. Like more than one, comic. These cases look pretty good. The plastic looks good. So they changed the CGC plastic. It's like thicker now. Feels more substantial. And with the cases, like I am looking, there's no scratches on here. There's no scuffs. Like for a while, the quality control was 0. And CGC, I think, was just getting rammed, and they were just pumping them out. And actually now, like there's no backup for moderns at CGC. So these were submitted to CGC by Gary 2 weeks ago, and they've all come back. 50 have come back graded, and everything's looking great. So quality control's there. Cases are there, like you're not having the cheap crap. What do we got next? Oh, another one of these. These are not all going to be the same. We just got a run of the meh ones. So again, looks good. I'm happy these are 9/8, to be honest, because like when I'm buying them, like, if I paid $10, $15 max for that book, and then getting it graded, it costs me more because I'm in Canada. So shipping, FedEx is 150 US, and it gets a little pricey. Next we have Strange Academy Finals #1 again. Another 9/8. I'm happy this one came back in a 9/8. Looks great. So this is point 1, #1. This is the first Sam Alexander Nova, and this is the Bradshaw cover. So this is like the cover B, but it's a wraparound cover. Awesome book. Now I got one of these graded, I want to say a year and a half ago, and the price was quite high on this book. It was over 300 US at the time. And I didn't sell. And I knew it would, like the price was good and I could sell. I just like the cover too much. Now I have a second one, so now I can sell one. But now, this is like under $200. So not everything dropped a crazy amount, but definitely we know the market has shifted, and certainly people are broke right now. Some are rich and some are broke. Next we have the Mandalorian #2. This is most likely the 1 in 50, or it's the 1 in 25. I submitted both. I don't know which one's which, unfortunately. And this is the first appearance of Grogu. So the Mandalorian #1, he's got a cameo, and then he's actually, in this book, and so this is his first appearance. And again, I think this was less ordered. There's less store variants, so it's a good book to have. Like, I'm not going to sell this, even though I don't love the cover. Maybe I will. Oh, I did get a book. What is this? The hell is this? Is that a book? Books 25. Not a comic. I don't think this is mine. Let's see what we got here. Well, it's definitely a comic. It's from a comic. I did not submit this. This smells old. So maybe this was in another book. It's possible. If it is, that's funny. Like you can see the staple marks. So I wonder where this came from. Toxic Avenger. Maybe someone else submitted, or maybe it's just in a book I bought. Like I don't, with moderns, I don't flip through the book. I don't look for missing pages. I don't look for whatever. Should I? Maybe, but I don't. So it's certainly possible that that could get thrown in. Who knows? Next we have Star Wars The Mandalorian number 8. I don't know why I bought this one. I did buy it from Thing from Another World. Maybe I just like the cover. But then there's a little bit of hype on this book. It's possible it's a 1 in 50. And so there aren't that many copies. And when I looked at this book on eBay before I submitted books to CGC, because I do kind of put a threshold for myself, I want at least $150 US for a book that I grade. And I assume it's going to come back 9.8. And this one was quite expensive, so I think that's why I got it graded. We'll see. I'll look it up after, figure out what the first appearance is in here. Like, could it be that crazy, or is it just super under-ordered? All right, next book. I'm happy this one got a 9.8. So this is Amazing Spider-Man number 4, first appearance of Silk. Never liked the cover, although it has grown on me a little bit. I do have another copy of this book. This is another one where I could have sold into the hype with my first copy, but I only had one copy at the time, and I thought she was going to be in Into the Spider-Verse number 2, and she's a character that I feel has room to grow, so I don't actually mind holding on to her first appearance. Now I have 2 in 9.8 white pages. I bought this one on eBay. I want to say I paid like $80 for it. So good return on my investment. Again, it's being picky and it's really scouring, like really looking at the pictures to see, is this a 9.8 candidate? And if it is, I don't mind buying for whatever the going rate is and getting it graded. I should be able to make money if I need to sell. Now the next one is a weird one. This is actually a PC book. It's an older book. Now, with me, I don't actually submit modern books that are like from the 90s very often. And that's because I've been slapped on the wrist enough where I'm like, oh, it'll hopefully come back 9.8 or 9.6. And then, it gets crucified. And I feel like 90s books do get unfairly graded, or they just don't come back 9.8. So I don't submit them anymore. And this one, I had a couple options for filler. I actually looked at this book before, maybe a year and a half ago or a year ago, as a potential submission, and I'm just like, it's not going to make a 9.8. And then I didn't look that hard this time, and I submitted it, and it came back a 9.8. So this is Ghost Rider Volume 2, number 15. This is the glow-in-the-dark cover. And I will check tonight to see that it actually glows in the dark. Still, after how many years? This is from 1991, so after 33 years or 32 years, let's see if it still glows. I just thought it was a cool cover. Ghost Rider is not my favorite character. I think he's like a well-designed character, looks cool enough, so I'm not a biker. I'm sure you guys know that already, but I'm not a biker. And but I thought the cover was cool, and I actually thought about just buying this book graded because I didn't think I'd be able to buy a raw copy that would hit a 9.8. And I think this is the only copy I actually did buy, and I probably paid $10 for it tops, and it came back a 9.8, so I'm happy with that. Just one sec. Well, Mr. Kendra, as always, is a miracle worker. It looks perfect. Like, it is definitely a 9.8, and I didn't think it was, so thanks, Gary. Next one. This is another cover one. I thought there'd be more buzz on this because I thought there were more Ninja Turtle fans. So this is Elektra Black, White, and Blood #4, and this is the Eastman cover. It's a 1 in 25 as well, and I think at FOC you couldn't actually see the cover, but I do actually really like the cover. So I got this one graded. It was it's unread. It should come back a 9.8 ideally. And it's an interesting cover. Like, obviously Eastman has a style. This definitely looks to me like an Eastman one, but she's as close to a Ninja Turtle as Marvel has. She's got Raphael size. Okay, next book. I was really hoping that this book would come back a 9.8. This is a New Modern. I overpaid because I bought, before it got released. And these books were just expensive, and they didn't come down in value. So this is Peach Momoko. It's Miles Morales Spider-Man #1 from like the newest version. So this is from February of this year. And I love the cover. I think this is just an absolute, it's a great Momoko cover. It is a great Miles Morales cover. I love the coloring. I love the like the background and the distancing and the spiders and everything. And so I was targeting this book, and they had this book for $200 US on Thing from Another World for like, I want to say 2 months. Like before the release and then after the release. And I was looking every day, waiting for them to drop the price to like $100, and I was going to buy at least one more because I really like the cover. This I want to say it's a 1 in 200. So I didn't think there would be many of them. I think the cover's great, and so over time I hope that it's a big Miles book. Like, it's unread and everything. I think I got lucky with this being a 9.8. Like, it's closer to 9.6 to me, but it's still in the realm. Wouldn't be an unboxing without a Strange Academy. This is the 1 in 10 design variant for Strange Academy #1. So first appearance of all the kids. Emily Bright and Doyle Dormammu. It's a wraparound. This specific one never got a lot of love. I think I bought this, I want to say, for like $80 US on eBay. And I don't personally recommend buying Strange Academy #1 on eBay at this point because every copy, in my opinion, has already been graded or rejected, or there's a reason it didn't get graded in the last couple of years. So, but I took a chance on it. Like, again, you look at the pictures, you hope for the best. I'm very glad it came back 9.8. I only have one other copy of that book in at all, and it's 9.8 as well. Next, we got a brand new one. No hype on it, and I think it's an under-the-radar book. So this is Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #1. This came out in April. So given that it is April, it literally came out, and I submitted a few copies. So I forget what the guy's name is. This is the first appearance of Ironsides, or I don't know what he is. He's supposed to be an Omega level mutant in the future. He can turn his blood into like different substances, or like iron or metal or maybe adamantium. He might have a healing factor. He seemed like they could have snuck him in and then they start using him some more. So this is the only cover. This is the 1 in 25, the only cover that he's actually on. And even though it's a number one, I don't know how widely ordered this book was. And then when it came out, there really was no hype. And I didn't pre-order this book. Um, it came out and I found out that this guy, it was his first appearance, and then I checked out the actual book and I thought he was a very cool character. And I have a soft spot for mutants or X-Men, and it's been a while since I was excited about a character, and this guy came up, and I have seen him in at least another of the Sins of Sinister books. So hopefully they just figure out, how to use him, and he keeps showing up over time. So I'm a little quick to get it graded. And again, I was kind of scrambling to get books to submit for my pre-screen. So I think I bought 4 copies of this book on eBay after it was released and there was no hype. And, like for less than cover price. And I thought that was a pretty good deal. So instead of buying like 1 or 2, I bought 4. And it's just, like it's a long shot. But I, for the price, and since it's his only first cover, I'll give it a shot. Ironsides. I don't know what his name is. I'm sure we'll look back on this years from now and laugh about, this guy's first appearance, because it's going to be so hard to find, and yeah. Okay, wouldn't be an unboxing without my favorite sleeper book. So this is Taskmaster 3. This is the 1 in 25 Davis variant for the first print. Beautiful cover, had some hype. I've talked about this book endlessly. I was still buying them. So there's one guy on eBay that was selling these. And he would post one every month or two. So for the last 6 months, I have bid on all of them. I don't think I won the last auction, but I'm like, like I'm the shill bidder, aka I'm the one buying these books. And if I see the pictures and it looks like a 9.8, I will buy it for whatever it is. It's like going for 200 US raw still, and there's no hype on it. It's the first appearance of Taiguchi, who is Korean Superman. Not a lot of hype on him, and he could just disappear the way many characters and teams disappear. But if he doesn't, I think this book is just huge potential. So I say that probably being the person in the world that has the most copies of this book. So, like again, there's under 100 graded copies. Like very low print run, and then it had a 1 in 25, and I would say I have at least 10 to 15% of all the copies. So I have, like 10 to 15 copies of this book now. I do have a bunch in 9.8, and I follow it on eBay. Nobody is buying them, so they're quite high priced. So a 9.8 is like, 800 US price, but nobody's buying it at that price. I have the only 9.6 on eBay, and I've had it listed for a long time, and nobody's bought it. And you play around with the price, but I don't really have an incentive to drop the price, and I believe in the book, so whatever, it can sit. And if there are 9.6s that people want to sell, they can undercut me. But nobody has tried to do that in 9 months, so I don't think there are many graded copies of this, and there aren't that many people trying to sell them. There's a couple stores, and then I've got a 9.6. And the only reason I'm selling my 9.6 is because I just kept buying them, and now I've got enough 9.8s. So why not add one more? I am very happy that these keep coming back 9.8. Like, again, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get why people don't grade them, especially when you know that, like, raw it's 200 and then graded, at least potentially it's 800. So to me, it's a no-brainer to get them graded. I Again, modern books, unread books, I still like having them pressed. And when I'm looking at these books, I know they look better than when I sent them to Gary. So just like having them perfect. Why not have them perfect? It's like 10, 12 bucks to have it perfect. Only got a few more. Again, I did buy 2 copies of this book. Both came back 9.8. I'm super happy about that. Did I overpay? I paid the going rate, and I don't anticipate I'll get my money back for years, but I'm not trying to sell. And now I have 2 copies. So when I do want to sell, when the price is right and people come around to this book, I'll have one to keep and one to sell. Or, I'm just out 200 bucks. Really, I think I could recoup at least most of my money if I had to sell, or just wanted to rid myself of it. Next, Deadpool, Black, White, and Blood, number 4. This is the cover A, and it didn't show the first appearance. It's just like another spider character, Sakura Spider probably. So she was in anime first, unlike Penny Parker, but she was like an anime Spider-Man character. And then she randomly showed up in Deadpool, Black, White, and Blood, number 4. This book had a lot of hype when it came out. I bought no copies. I didn't want to pay the 30 bucks or whatever it was when it came out and the hype was there. And so I waited, and it came out in January of 2022, and I bought a couple copies because they just started popping up, I would say, in February of this year. And, like unread 9.8 potential. And to me, it's cheap spec. So I didn't pay a lot for these books. I think I paid like, say 20 US for the book and then get it graded. I also saw a couple of the 1 in 25s pop up, and I was like ready to pull the trigger, but it was back in like October when, just like when nobody was buying anything and the world was ending, and like don't spend $1 if you can. People were thinking that, so I didn't pull the trigger on the 1 in 25. I didn't like the cover that much anyway, so I liked the cover A better. So I just sat and waited, and then, people finally listed them at a reasonable price. There's an eBay comic store called Comic Cache, and they're based out of Canada, like in Alberta, most likely. And I bought a lot of Strange Academy books off them, like in 2022. And I do find that they have like very fair prices, and their grading is fantastic. So if they're saying it's like a 9.6, it's a 9.8. So I've always been very happy buying from them. So if they list a book and it's one there was buzz about or there was hype about, they probably held them back and now they're selling, and I don't mind buying. All right, last book. Yep. Honestly, it's very good that I got 3 out of 3 of these back in 9.8. Super happy about that. And they go in the pile. So how many 9.8s do I have? I might have 8, which is crazy, but you know, I'm specking on it. What can I say? I got them all at a price I agreed with, and I don't mind getting in early on this book. Again, it's not a sure thing. So just give me a second. I'm going to count the books. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So, yeah, that was 25 of 25, 9.8 pre-screen. All 25 came back, 9.8 white pages. As good as you can hope for. I don't love getting a pre-screen back and you pick up the box and it is light. So this box I knew was pretty good. I was hoping for over 20 out of 25 and instead I just hit them all all with a home run. So that's kind of the spec that I've been going on lately. There are some better books in this one, but it's not a pre-screen, so we'll see how they come back. That's about it for me. Again, sorry about the delay in making a video. Uh, you just like don't put your mind to it, and then months can pass pretty quick. So I apologize for that, and everyone have a good night. This is Grade with Great Expectations. See ya.